I want to ask you about the kind of astrology you do. You're a Neo-Vedic astrologer. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Great question. Yes. So just to give a little bit of background, so Vedic astrology is a strand of Indian astrology, which is like a kind of a trifecta, a holy trinity of kind of ideas and principles. Now, I know this might be a touch point for some people because people are like, well, astrology is not a science. But Vedic astrology, I would say, is the closest. Because when I've got an accurate birth time and I look at the planets, because I'm always saying planets are people in Vedic astrology, then it's so accurate. So what I do is I take the traditional 5,000-year-old Vedic astrology and I add in the outer planets, which are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And I also include the asteroid Chiron, and I also include Ceres, who is sort of like a planetoid asteroid. And her orbit goes between Mars and Jupiter. And what I've found is now traditional Vedic astrology, they did know about the outer planets, but they didn't include them as part of the canon.
Right.
But they understood that there were those effects. But I do include the outer planets because they are so profound and they reveal often these unusual, unplanned for, or extra depth and resonance to people's lives that wouldn't necessarily be covered by traditional Vedic astrology. So when you combine all those factors together, it's just been awesome. So that, I hope, explains how that energy works.
Very helpful. And so just to clarify, the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, is what your reading of them is what makes you a Neo-Vedic astrologer as opposed to just a traditional Vedic astrologer that does not read those outer planets.
Indeed.
Can you talk just a little bit about the difference between Vedic astrology and Western astrology? Because they are very different.
So out of a 30-degree portion of sky, the stars by precession have been moving backwards, or maybe I'll do it this way because this will be in reverse in the video. So they've moved backwards by almost 24 degrees out of 30. So that means anyone that is their star sign is Aries, for example, in Western tropical, they're probably a Pisces. The overlap is only 6 degrees. If they are late Aries and you take it back, they will still be in Aries, but most people actually drop back into the sign before. So the vast majority of people that are Aries sun sign are actually Pisces sun sign. What normally happens is that, and particularly as well, and it's so funny because I should take a photograph each time it happens, because you can imagine the shock for people who for years and years have identified as Virgos, and then it goes back and they realize that they're Leos. And you know what? They all do the same thing. They all go, oh my God. And they do a big flick of their mane-like hair. I'm like, you do realize that is the typical Leo response, because they all come to me they all come to me and they think they're Virgos, and I see them. The hair is out there like this, all glossy and shiny, and they think they're these sweet little Virgos. And when I reveal to them that they're Leos, it's hilarious.
We are in the middle of a terrible time with what's going on in Europe and Ukraine. And everybody's, trying to figure out what's going on with Putin and, when this will end. And I just want to get your astrological take on this. Do you have any thoughts or any predictions there?
Yes, and as you can imagine, I've done quite a few videos on Vladimir, and my nickname for him on the channel is Putinshka. So when I write it out, there you are. he does have, what I would say is this, he does have an extraordinary chart. An extraordinary chart doesn't necessarily mean it's a good one. It just means it's extraordinary. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He, particularly in his Navamsha, he has a lot of planets in very, very high dignity. In fact, in his Navamsha chart, in his second house, in his second half of life chart, he doesn't have a single planet in any kind of debilitation or anything like that. They're all either in their own signs, signs of exaltation, or in the signs of friends. Yeah, this is exceedingly rare. He also has something. This is luckily something I've got as well, but he's doing the shadow expression. He's got something which is a Mahapurusha yoga. Mm-hmm. And what that means is it refers to, it's known as the yoga of great men. And what is his Venus, planet Venus, is in Libra. It's in its own sign. And it's in his first house. And it's all about presentation. Venus is the sign of, weirdly enough, congeniality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Relationships, beauty, aesthetics, presentation. It can even mean the good life, yachts, boats, etc., opulence. But there's actually a psychic side to Venus. But the point is this, is that very much what his chart and life is about is presenting an illusion. Mm-hmm. An illusion.
Yeah.
And I get psychic hits on him all the time. He has an extraordinarily dark side to him, which is almost beyond the beyond. Mm-hmm. And I've even had psychic impressions where, the planets have just been like, my goodness. Mm-hmm. So what is that I've looked at his chart, and in earlier videos, before he actually admitted it, I was almost kind of pulling his leg a little bit, obviously from a safe distance. Mm-hmm. And I said, he has delusions of grandeur, and he would imagine himself to be someone like Peter the Great or Catherine the Great.
Right.
And it just so happens, months after me saying that, he said he is like Peter the Great, allegedly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we have a person who's got this extraordinary ego, this sense of entitlement, mm-hmm. But there is this extraordinary emptiness, which is beyond something. It's not even the void, like what I was shown. It's much more like a black hole. Mm-hmm. It's this kind of destructive energy, because a black hole is like, the gravitational force is so strong, not even light can escape. Yeah, because right. Light is both a particle and a wave. Yeah, if we go to our traditional physics, it's more like that. Whereas the void is different. The void is very good for psychic intuition, all of that kind of stuff. But a black hole is crushing. Mm-hmm. It's destructive, but it sometimes has these projectiles as well. So this is a man that is almost motivated now by annihilation.
What other predictions have you made that you mentioned that the pandemic, you saw something coming, and what other predictions stand out for you?
In the USA chart, Pluto and Ketu in the same house. And what's happened here is it's taken Pluto about 200, almost 250 years to come back to the same place. Mm. When Pluto entered on the 1st of January, 2021, that was your insurrection. Yeah.
Wow.
That was it. That's what I was predicting. That's what I said. Get ready, everyone. Yeah. Energetically, psychically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, America is going through this extraordinary birthing process mm-hmm. of breakdown and transformation mm-hmm. all at the same time. And this is why it feels so intense. We've got the midterms coming up in November, and guess what? There's going to be a full lunar eclipse on the 8th of November.
Oh my gosh.
On the exact same day of the midterms.
Oh man.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready.
I hope you enjoyed this clip from the latest episode of the Sacred Stream radio podcast.
If you'd like to see the full version of this interview, you can pop over to our Sacred Stream YouTube channel and watch it there. You can also download and listen to the audio version of the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. And please remember to like and subscribe to the channel to support the podcast. It really helps us reach a wider audience.